Here we are in this absolutely beautiful, still, calm forest, probably 30 minutes from home. I've been attacked by flies. It's an absolute gorgeous beauty spot. There's a dam here, a reservoir where they do kayaking and sunbathing and whatever, boating there, picnic sites. So we decided to come over here and start answering the questions. Just to make it a little bit different. Didn't really want to just sit in front of the camera and answer questions parrot fashion. We've had about 100 questions, some really varied ones this time. It's surprising how many we get on things that have gone in the past, because not everyone has been with us since the start of this 2 years ago. So it's not a problem asking a question that you may think has been asked before and answered before, because if you're new to the channel then you won't know. So we're just going to go through a few of the questions today, and then we're going to break it up to another day and be somewhere else, so you see a bit of the scenery as well. As I say, this is about 30 minutes from the house, and it's a beautiful place to come and visit and have a picnic and what have you. So I'm going to start with this question, which was asked, and I found it a really interesting question, and it's one that's never been asked before. So I'll just read this one out, and the rest I'll answer in a general term. This one was from Blaine Lee, so thanks for your question. To do all the renovation work required means you need to be gone for longer stretches at a time. How does Suze feel about you being gone for long periods of time? Now, as I say, one or two people asked that question, and I think this is like a two-parter. I think Suze can give her answer, and I can give my answer. And I've not really asked her what the answer would be. I thought I'd wait until we did this and see exactly how she feels about it all, because, you know, it's correct. I am away from home quite a lot, and that was not part of the deal when we got together. And it's just the way this has evolved. So, yeah, I'll let Suze answer first, and then I'll answer. So, how do you feel about it?
Well, back in the beginning when you first bought the house, I don't think I had a massive amount of interest in it.
Right, yeah.
It was an itch you got to scratch, and I appreciated that. I didn't realise how beautiful it was here.
Right.
I didn't realise how welcoming the local communities are.
Why was that then? I mean, you'd been to France in the past, hadn't you? But
yeah, the usual Paris.
Yeah.
Driven through on the way to Italy and various
and
places.
kept on going. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just the usual perception of French.
Yeah.
Rude.
Arrogant.
Don't like the English.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pretty much what most people's thoughts of the French are.
Yeah.
Until you know them.
Because it's entirely the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are the most welcoming, friendly people. If you make the effort, even, you know, you've got to be prepared to make a fool of yourself. And if you make the effort to communicate with them in their language, even if it's just saying good morning and whatever, they appreciate that. And they are just the most welcoming people. We've got so many friends here. Some of them don't even speak a word of English. And they're just friends and they'll do anything for us, won't they?
Yeah.
So go on and carry on, sorry. I'll shut up.
Well, you told me all that as well when you were buying the house. And I did think, oh, yeah, whatever. And I didn't really come much in the beginning, so you came over, and we hadn't been together that long really when you did buy the house and started coming over.
No.
Not in relationship terms of a length of time. So I'd been on my own, so it was then, it didn't seem too big a deal when you went away.
Right, okay, yeah.
But as time's gone on, and the more the adventure is happening, and the more each time you come and you see friends and go places, and even though you're working really, really hard, you've got the lovely weather and all of that, then I do sit at home and I'm a little bit envious.
Yeah. I'm just very selfish, aren't I?
But
it has got harder as time's gone on, hasn't it? You know, it's I find that, as Suze just said, at the start it was this big adventure we were going on, and I'll come to why this adventure started next. but it was like we were starting this big adventure and you couldn't get here quick enough, and you know, oh, I'm going for a month, and you do the month, and you know, we speak. The great thing is nowadays we've got the internet and phones and texting and everything else, and so you could keep in touch quite easily. But it's strange as time's gone on, and really now I come for less lengths of time, don't I? I probably come for a fortnight, maybe almost 3 weeks at times. It's that we start to miss each other, miss home quicker than we did in the start, didn't we? You know, just leaving home and everything else, you know. And don't get me wrong, I still love coming here and I still love doing the work, and if you, for the want of a better word and a bit of a cliche, building the dream. And it wasn't a dream, it can be a nightmare at times. You know, there is that side of it where, you know, we're together, we've been a couple now for 6 years, and you know, we miss each other like anybody does, well, most people anyway. So yeah, it has got a bit more difficult as time's gone on, hasn't it? And I don't think you fully understood what was involved and what my idea was, really. No. So on my side of it, I'll answer another question that came up: what made us pick this area, as well as how I feel about it. The reason I came here to look for a house and buy a house, which I did almost entirely on the internet, was that I lived here almost 20 years ago, and I lived in the next village down from where we live now, or where we have the house now. So I knew this area very, very well. I knew what the climate was like. I knew the people were very friendly. There is a small amount of English people here. I wouldn't say there's a large amount in the village I live in, or the village that the house is in. There is probably 3 other couples who are English, and funny enough, we don't really have much to do with them. We don't mix out, you know, we don't socialise a lot with them, though we do meet now and again. Yeah, I just knew the area very well. We're 30 minutes from the beach, which is a beautiful beach at La Tronche. So I just automatically wanted to come back here. So that was why we picked this. And we picked it, I was just going through the internet, and I went onto the site of the people who I'd bought my original house from 20 odd years before. And this was the first house that I saw, and it was just something about it that I thought, wow, yeah, I love that house, I can see the potential. And I have said this before, but I phoned up the estate agent, or the immobilier as they're called here, Miguel, and said, look, you know, I've seen this house on your website, and this Miguel was who I'd bought my original house from. And the first thing he said to me was, don't buy this house, you know, there's a lot of work to do. And me forgetting I'm 20 years older, I thought, no, this is a house I want. So I came over with my friend Mick, who you've seen on some of the videos, and I just knew this was the house I wanted to buy, even though I knew there was a lot of work to be done. So that's how we ended up looking at this house. Just one other thing as well, when people talk about the house and they see the gîte and the photographs from outside, the curved buildings that you see is the church, which is next door to us. It's not part of our property. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, oh, is that part of your property? What are you going to do with that? It's not. That is a church. At some points it's only about eight inches away from our building, but it's nothing to do with us, though it does govern a lot of things we can do as regards to colour of shutters, types of windows, colour of paint and what have you. But we'll come on to that with some other questions down the line. I watch a lot of YouTube channels with people renovating houses, building houses, a lot of in America, as far away as Alaska, California, a lot of Canadian people building houses, and they're mainly couples. And it shows with them, and I think with us, if you haven't got a strong partner, someone who will back you, it is quite a risk to take. You've got to be not in it 100% equally, but you've got to discuss it first, and you've got to talk about it. And then I would say that if you don't have the backing of your partner, and Sue's backed me all the way, don't do it. I mean, when you look at what we had to start with, you know, this 200-year-old ruin with no toilet and what have you, no electricity really, except the type that kills you quite easily, and to see what we've got now through a lot of hard work on both sides. You know, you've got to have you've got to have a gamble, and you only live once, and if you don't do it, I don't want to sort of sit there thinking, oh, what if? I just wanted to get stuck in and have another go, because it was, as Sue said, an itch I had to scratch. I just always regretted leaving France, and this was my opportunity because I'd sold some property in England, and I had some insurance money come in and some other things. That I thought, right, now this is a chance to do it. As I say, the biggest mistake I made really was forgetting I was 20 odd years older, and bending down and picking things up ain't as easy as it used to be. But that's how we both feel about it. We're both in it 100%, aren't we? And,
still find it very daunting when I come back and I looking around at the garden, which I know will be answered in another question, but
yeah.
just sometimes I just feel like there's so much to do.
Yeah, and there is, but the secret is, and I think you'll see this with a lot of other people renovating houses, don't look at the whole picture. Look at the bit you're doing now. Get on with that bit. Break it down, get on with that bit, and all the pieces will come together eventually. And if you think all the way down the line, yes, it's daunting, it's frightening. You know, I've still got this to do. Oh, look at that, I've got that to do. How am I going to tackle this problem? Just deal with what you're doing today, and make plans for tomorrow, and carry on like that, and it will all come together. People seem to think that because the gîte's coming to an end, that's it. The gîte is probably a quarter of the work that needs doing. Somebody asked which part of the building, have we just got the gîte and nothing else, or is there a separate building as well? Well, no, there's not a separate building. There's a house attached to the gîte. So we've still got that to start on. So that will probably take us a couple of years. Let's be optimistic and say a couple of years to get sorted. In some ways it will be easier than the gîte, because the gîte was nothing and we've had to develop it from nothing into what it is now, where the house is a house and it has, you know, all separate rooms, and there's a fireplace in there, and we've planned it out of what we're going to do, which will come on later because we're going to do a tour of the house in one of the other questions. So it is just a part of the house. By the end of next month we will have finished the gîte. We have to. Somebody else asked when will it be ready to rent out. We're already taking bookings. We are booked from the 20th of August up until the 1st of October already. So, you know, it has to be ready, and they understand that the garden may not be finished, and they're quite happy about that. We've done a special deal with them and everything else. So don't think we're getting near the end. We have a lot of work to do. One other question was, how much did the house cost us? I have said this before, so I don't mind saying it cost us round about £50,000, but that was just for the house, and we are spending more than that on renovating it and everything else that needs to be done. So it is a long-term project. We don't have a fixed budget, because we don't have a fixed time, because I think that's crazy to do, because how many times you see people do that and say, oh, we've gone over budget, oh, well, you know, it's taking longer than we thought. It will do. I know that from doing it before, so I didn't put myself under that stress of thinking I've got to be done by a date. COVID didn't help. That, you know, caused a big problem. We would have had this finished 18 months ago, the gîte, but COVID came along and we couldn't come to the house for months. So to think that we've got where we've got now is pretty good, really. And you sometimes just take it for granted, and I don't really think about it. Susan notices it more than I do.
I think we are quite lucky in the fact that although you haven't got losing to budget, there has been a nice pot of money.
Yes, yeah.
So that pot of money obviously is going down, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So I think, although yes, there isn't a budget, obviously in doing it
there was a limit.
Anyway. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's not an unlimited pot, but we have enough to finish the house, hopefully. And the other thing you need to remember, that now we're starting to rent it out, we're getting money come back, which is a big bonus. You know, everything that we get coming in will go towards the house. So I hope that helps. We are going to answer every question that was asked of us, and over about 4 videos people have been asking questions, so if we haven't answered yours yet, we will get to it. We don't want to answer each one individually, we just want to put them all together and sort of cover an area, a topic at each time. So thanks very much, and we will talk to you soon. Okay, cheers everybody, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hi again, everybody. Well, today, as you've seen on the footage, we went over to a place called Coulon, which is in an area called Venice Vert, which roughly translated means green Venice. So, absolutely stunning place, beautiful area, beautiful architecture, fantastic canals and riverway and houses on the canals and what have you. It was actually too hot to film an answer session, so we've waited till it's got a little bit cooler. We've come back to the village where we have the house. It's still quite warm, even though it's gone 8 o'clock at night, but it is a bit more bearable now. So, yeah, we'll get on with the questions. This one, and I'll let Suze answer first, is what do we do, or what did we do for a living? Okay, so
Right, always worked in an office ever since I left school when I was about 17. Admin jobs, but I've worked in all sorts of industries, from ice cream to newspaper industry. My last job was working for a water treatment company with Legionnaires reports and testing. We got bought out in 2019 and we were made redundant, given a nice little package, and decided that I didn't want to go back into an office anymore. I wanted to have a little bit of freedom. So set up my own company, cleaning business, very successful, very busy. Obviously that was before I looked at buying the house, but the whole plan was that I'd have a little bit more time to be able to take out, to do what the things with Graham. At that point we'd got the boat still, so hoping perhaps then at that point to travel the waterways a bit more. Obviously plans have changed. But yeah, so yes, at the moment I'm working for myself with a cleaning company.
Yeah, so in this year, in October, we've been together for 6 years, but in 2019, everything changed in a way because Sue says she was made redundant. And at the time, I was a driving instructor, which I'd been doing since, well, for about 11 years, 10, 11 years, something like that, which to start with I thoroughly enjoyed. And then things happened in my life, and I got where I just didn't enjoy it anymore. But I carried on for a short while. So before that, I was in the furniture trade in lots of different guises. Everything from working in a warehouse, supplying the upholstery trade, working for myself, having my own business, and working for a company which everyone will probably know is Scotchgard. And then I went to France, stayed there for a couple of years, came back to England. Swore I would never go back into the furniture trade, but did because I was offered a decent job. Did that for a couple of years and then went into the driving school. And then in 2019, I sold a property. I came into an insurance payout, and I also receive a pension every month. And I just thought, you know what, I've had enough of this. I'm going to retire and basically live off my wits, which I did. A bit of a risk, but I did, and so far so good. With the money that we came into as well, we went for a trip to Australia, came back, and I started doing artwork, drawings, paintings, woodworking, and what have you. More woodworking on the form of turning and making small objects, not anything big. So yeah, that's about a quick brief history of
what we've done,
and how we got here. Yeah. So another question. This one comes up all the time, and it's a good question because I mean there's a lot of answers here. Do we intend to live here? Go
on. Yes, no, depends on what day it is, what month it is.
How we get on with the grandkids and children.
Yeah, how we're feeling about life back home. It is one of those. I think for us at the moment, unanswerable questions.
Yeah, we can't give a definite answer because as Sue says, it's yes and no. Another question we had, which is in this as well, is do we have any children? What children? We don't have any children together. Though we could still try, couldn't we? It's been no. But no, we don't have any children together. But Sue's has 2 children and I have 3. Sue's and between us we have 6 grandchildren, don't we? Is that right? About 6, 7? Yeah, we have a few anyway. So we have grandchildren as well, who are all small. Taylor's the oldest, isn't he? And then Dylan's 6.
6.
And the others,
5.
yeah, 2.
Paul's 2.5. And Emma's 1.5.
Yeah.
So
So they're all still pretty young. And that ties you, no, I don't know, tying you down is not the right word, is it?
it's a tug.
It's a tug, yeah, it is.
Pull on
And
the heartstrings.
it's not just easy to say, right, we're up and off. And even though France is, short distance from England, it's not like we've gone to Australia or anything like that. It is still a tug, and Sue's is very much involved with her grandchildren. She sees them quite often, don't you? Where I don't see mine so often. He's at
childcare.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing. I mean, I do see him quite often, but he's at school, and it's not so easy. It is still quite a commitment and a big decision to make, because you like to see your grandkids and what have you. But as time goes on, and as the house has slowly developed and come on, and we can now see what it's going to look like in the future, we sometimes do think about it, don't we?
Yeah, I think it just develops, doesn't it? And your love of somewhere grows and develops more and more, and you get deeper embedded in it. And you invest more and more in it.
We've also got the issue of Brexit. Brexit changed everything. When I came here in 2004, I just basically walked into the country. Well, I drove because it's a long walk. We came over to the country, saw a house eventually, bought it, moved in. Can't do that now. We can come for 90 days out of every 180. We can apply for a visa, which gives us a 12-month stay. I don't know how that works exactly. It's not just fill a form and send it off and it comes back. It is quite involved and takes some time. Or we could become French citizens because we're homeowners here. But at the moment, we don't really want to go down that route, do we? It works for us as it is at the moment.
Yeah, and we aren't really there. With them just almost completing the Gite.
Yeah.
That thought is a couple of years away, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in 2 years' time, all the kids will be a little bit older. Who knows what's going to happen in 2 years' time?
Both houses should be done.
Both house should be finished.
Yeah.
So we would probably look at it again then. And yes and no, we would love to live here full time, but we would also love to live back in England, and you can't have both full time. So as we stand at the moment, we're quite happy with the situation, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
At the moment, especially with all that's happening with the building work, it's working.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Another question: do we speak French? No, we don't.
You more than me.
I speak more than you, don't I? Yeah, I can speak enough to get by. Yeah. I know how to order a beer, and I know how to order a set of ladders, and that's got me by for the last 2 years, hasn't it?
You do know more than that.
I do, yeah.
Yes.
But I cannot have a conversation in French. I'm okay with describing something, and when somebody speaks to me in French, you've only got to pick up the odd word and you get the gist of what they're saying. And I sort of get by with what I know coming back. And you're learning all the time. It's just, as I said yesterday, the French are very much appreciative if you make the effort to speak in their language. It doesn't matter if you make a fool of yourself. They understand what you're saying, they appreciate it, and you get by that, don't you? I mean, I've lived here before and I couldn't speak anything then, except good morning and what have you. I know more now. But we've survived, and we've managed to renovate a house and what have you, so we must be getting by okay.
Google was amazing.
Sorry?
As well, Google.
Yeah, Mr. Google is absolutely fantastic, and you can do the translation on there. So every day you learn a little bit more, and we get by on that one. But yeah, I would never say I can speak French. I know a few words. A good one. We had a good laugh with this, didn't we? Because it's something that a lot of people have asked us. What do we intend to do when we're finished? Well,
our answers were many.
Yeah,
together.
If we're still alive and still compos mentis, when people say to me, when do you hope to finish the house? My stock answer is, in my lifetime. But what do we intend to do? This is the last one. There's probably a couple of years work left in this house. Obviously, after that, there's maintaining it and doing things like that. But we definitely won't be restoring any more houses. I'm 65 now. I know it's hard to believe, but I am 65 and I've had enough. You know, when this is finished, I'm loving doing this one. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 houses in France in total, because I did a friend's house as well. Mick, who you've seen on some of our videos, has thought about coming over. If he did, obviously we would help him. But yeah, we'll be happy when this house is finished to just enjoy it, won't we? We've still got loads of questions to answer, but we want to keep doing them in different places. So yeah, we thought we'd just come here and film this bit. So we're going to end this video because we've done a couple of sessions now, one in the forest and one here, and then we will start working on the next session. So if your question hasn't come up yet, you know, it will do. We are going to go through all the questions. We might not do it directly, but we will be involved in some of the answers that we're giving and what have you. So yeah, thanks very much as always. You know, thank you for all the people who take the time to subscribe and just sit and watch these videos. Thanks for everybody who gives us a thumbs up and whatever. It does mean a lot to us because you know, you've got plenty of things to do in your life, and to take the time out for half an hour, 20 minutes, we really do appreciate it. So yeah, we'll carry on, and we will talk with you soon. Yeah. Okay, everybody, thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.